A young man named Alan Parker, Jonathan Jackson, attempts suicide after his girlfriend breaks up with him, but is saved before he actually dies. He then learns that his mother, Barbara Hershey, has had a stroke and decides to hitchhike to the hospital where she's being taken care of. He meets a bunch of colorful faces in his journey, including a man that might just be the devil himself. Due to the fact of the ratings of this movie and Mick Garris directing, I didn't expect a lot from this movie. In fact, for the most part, it wasn't incredibly great. It was serviceable, but nothing atrocious. However, I think this movie is pretty much saved in its third act. The first hour or so is pretty mediocre. Nothing of incredible interest happens except maybe the beginning. Jonathan Jackson isn't really all that great, but luckily was never horrible. He was decent, but his highlights certainly come from his sarcastic quips of his inner monologue, but outside of that, he never really did anything that great. Barbara Hershey was good and likable through the flashback scenes in the movie and at the very end. David Arquette as George Staub was eccentric, but never went incredibly over the top. It wasn't incredibly memorable like Tim Curry's Pennywise, but it wasn't bad per se. I like that he didn't go super over the top. Nobody else really stood out in terms of acting, though. I feel like under better direction, this could have been so much better. Like a bunch of these King adaptations, these premises and concepts are so goddamn great, but I bet the original novels and short stories are great, but a lot of these writers and directors execute them so poorly. Or just no matter what they do, can't make them work for the big screen. However, the concept and main story, despite poor direction, is what got me through it. Even though it's not really great what I'm watching, I was still interested with where it will go, even though the editing was a major detractor. It was super choppy, and I felt that a lot of the situations that play out in Alan's head are just there to shock the audience for a couple seconds. I felt through editing trickery you could show the audience that these were fake situations just so that it doesn't appear like fake outs or BS or something like that. It just felt weird and just meant to be like holy shit moments for a couple seconds, which to me felt ridiculous. As I stated before, it's really saved by the ending because it's actually a very good ending for what it is. It has a good message despite a bit of a cop out happening before the actual ending. Despite this, definitely the best part of this movie is its third act and ending. I thought it was interesting, and the ending was just really good. I can't explain why it's so good because spoilers, but I just felt that it really saved this movie. I would recommend this movie just for its great ending. The movie itself is just okay, but the ending got to me. It's a good turn your brain off kind of movie as a whole. If it's Saturday night, you want to watch something kind of interesting, not too long, and has a bit of memorability to it, I recommend it. I thought this was going to be far worse, but for what it is, I thought it was okay.